You think you know everything about your car's engine, but what if I told you that one of the most critical parts in your vehicle was quietly swapped out for something completely different and nobody told you? Not the dealership, not the owner's manual, not the guy grinning at you on the lot when you signed the papers. Today we're talking timing belts, the dry kind, the oil-bathed kind, automakers, mechanics, myths, and facts. And by the end of this video, you're going to tell me, is this evolution or is it the biggest hustle in the modern auto industry? If you're the type who hits, like, before you even watch, this is your moment. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now because this video is going to change the way you look at your engine forever. Before we get into it, drop a comment down below. Do you actually know what a timing belt is? No need to fake it, be real. Because most people who drive every single day, who fill up at Costco, who complain about traffic on the 405, have absolutely no clue what's going on inside their engine while they're rolling. And that's fine. Nobody is born knowing this stuff. The problem starts when that part breaks. And when it does, my friend, it's ugly. Let's start from scratch so nobody gets left behind. Your car's engine works like an orchestra. You've got the crankshaft controlling the pistons up and down, over and over, and you've got the camshaft which opens and closes the intake and exhaust valves at exactly the right moment. If those two lose sync, it's chaos. Pistons slam into open valves, and that, buddy, is not a cheap fix. What keeps all of that in sync is the timing system, belt, or chain. That's the whole ball game. Historically, there have been 3 systems to do this. First, the timing chain, a metal chain, kind of like a bicycle chain, but way beefier, running in oil, built to last the life of the engine. Second, the conventional timing belt, a rubber belt with teeth, sitting outside the engine behind a plastic cover, requiring periodic replacement. And third, the oil-bathed timing belt. Exactly what it sounds like. A special rubber belt running inside the engine oil, like a chain, but made of belt material. That third type is the star of our story today. And trust me, this story has a plot twist. But before we get there, you need to understand why the conventional timing belt was so important and so beloved for decades. It was the 1960s. German manufacturer Glass, over in Bavaria, introduced a small 1-liter engine with something nobody had seen before. A toothed belt driving the camshaft. Simple, quiet, lighter, and cheaper to build than the chain or gear systems of the era. The market loved it. Automakers worldwide jumped on board. Iconic engines like the Volkswagen GTI's early 4-cylinder motors that American enthusiasts still have a soft spot for used timing belts successfully for decades. Toyota's diesel that powered the Land Cruiser and early Tacoma used a timing belt. It worked. It worked really well, and it became the industry standard. The conventional timing belt has a certain charm for anyone who works on cars. You pop off the cover, take a look, check the condition, and swap it out. Relatively simple job, affordable part. Your local shop can handle it, but everything comes with a cost. Rubber ages, heat, friction, constant tension. All of it breaks down the material. That's why automakers set mandatory replacement intervals, usually somewhere between 30,000 and 90,000 miles, or every 5 to 7 years. Blow past that deadline and you're literally gambling your engine. And plenty of people gamble and lose. When a timing belt snaps at speed, sync is gone in a fraction of a second. Piston meets open valve. Valves bend or break. The cylinder head can be damaged. The piston can be damaged. The engine that was running fine turns into an expensive paperweight in an instant, and the repair bill on a simple economy car can easily exceed the actual value of the vehicle. Now, you understand why this stuff is serious, and why automakers went looking for an alternative. The timing chain seemed like the perfect answer. Metal, lubricated by the engine oil itself, designed to last the lifetime of the vehicle, no scheduled replacement. Plenty of engines went that direction starting in the 90s, and it worked great. But a chain is heavier than a belt. Marty components, hydraulic tensioners, guides, and in tiny engines. Those 3-cylinder compacts that took over the European market and then came to the States, chains got too expensive to produce and needed space. The packaging didn't have. That's where Ford stepped in back in 2007. With that solution we mentioned a minute ago, the oil-bathed timing belt. The idea was to grab the best of both worlds. the lightweight and low production cost of a belt, the durability and lubrication of a chain. In theory, it was genius. Ford promised 150,000-mile or 10-year lifespan, lower noise, less friction, slightly better fuel economy. Ford's 1.0-liter, 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine won International Engine of the Year 3 years running. It came to the States in the Ford Fiesta and Focus, making around 123 horsepower on regular gas. The automotive press went nuts. Renault, Volkswagen, and other European automakers chased the same solution. The technology spread across dozens of models sold in the US. Ford Fiesta, Ford Focus, Ford EcoSport, Chevy Trax through the 1.4 turbo, Buick Encore, Chevy Trailblazer 1.2 Turbo, Chevy Equinox 15 Turbo. Those are some of the most popular vehicles in American driveways running this technology. And right here, I need to stop for a second, because I need you to pay attention. If you own one of those vehicles, this video could save you some serious money. Stay with me. The promise was solid. The awards came. Sales were great. Then time passed. The cars piled up, miles, and the award winner started turning into a headache. Reports started popping up in the US, in Europe, everywhere. Owners complaining, mechanics scratching their heads, engineers divided. The problem wasn't the belt breaking at 150,000 miles. The problem was the belt deteriorating way before that. Way before. And worse than the belt degrading was what it left behind. As the oil-bathed belt wears, it sheds debris into the lubricant. Those fragments circulate through the engine and start piling up on the oil strainer, the mesh screen at the bottom of the oil pan, right at the inlet of the oil pump. Over time, that strainer clogs. The engine starts losing oil pressure. The warning light comes on. Some drivers pull over immediately, but some drivers figure it's a faulty sensor and keep rolling. And that's when the damage gets catastrophic. Without oil pressure, components like the vacuum pump and variable valve timing actuators can be destroyed. Those are big-ticket items. The repair bill can get absolutely ridiculous, depending on the vehicle. And here's the detail that really ticks people off when they find out. To clean that strainer, you have to drop the oil pan. This isn't a quick lube job at Jiffy Lube. It's real shop time, real labor cost. And it needs to be done every time you change the oil on these engines. That is when the mechanic even knows it needs to be done. Because a lot of them don't. And that's one of the biggest real-world problems the oil-bathed belt brought to everyday American drivers. The mechanic who trained in the 90s. Who can swap a conventional timing belt in his sleep. Who has changed more Accord and Camry belts than he can count. Has never seen an oil-bathed belt in his life. When a newer Chevy comes in with low oil pressure, the diagnosis can drag on. The real cause gets identified late, and the repair bill shows up with extra zeros. That's not the mechanic's fault. It's a technology shift that arrived without training, without warning, without any kind of public rollout. The owner didn't know. The mechanic didn't know. And the dealer wasn't exactly shouting it from the rooftops. Drop a comment right now. Did you know some newer cars use this type of belt? I genuinely want to know if this information is getting out there or if it's still a well-kept secret. Now let's talk myths, because this topic has generated some serious nonsense online. Myth number 1, oil-bathed belts always fail and the whole system is garbage. Not true. There are owners who followed the maintenance schedule to the letter, used the correct oil, never skipped a service, and had zero problems. The system works when everything is done right. Myth number 2, every engine with an oil-bathed belt is a disaster. Also not true. Some designs had way more complaints than others. Don't lump them all together. Myth number 3, you never have to replace the oil-bathed belt. This might be the most dangerous myth of all. Some automakers threw out crazy high mileage numbers, but real-world shop experience showed that changing it at conventional belt intervals somewhere around 60,000 to 80,000 miles is way smarter. Peugeot and Citroën, to their credit, are actually upfront about this and recommend replacement at around 50,000 miles. Myth number 4, oil-bathed belt and timing chain are the same thing. They are absolutely not. Different material, different behavior, different maintenance. Don't confuse them. So what actually makes a difference on an engine with an oil-bathed belt? First, the oil. Use exactly what the manufacturer specifies. Don't grab the cheapest jug off the shelf at AutoZone because you think it's all the same. It's not. The wrong oil speeds up belt degradation and wrecks the tensioners and guides in the system. Second, oil change intervals. If you're doing a lot of stop and go in city traffic, engine city at idle, never really getting up to operating temperature, shorten your oil change interval. Oil that doesn't get hot enough loses efficiency faster and leaves the belt without proper lubrication. Third, the oil strainer. Ask your mechanic if he cleans the strainer at every oil change. If he gives you a blank stare, that's your warning sign right there. Fourth, never ignore the oil pressure. Warning light. If that light comes on while you're driving, pull over. Right now. Call a tow truck. I'm serious. Continue to drive with the oil pressure light on, and an engine with an oil-based belt can destroy the engine in minutes. Fifth, change the belt before the automaker's published interval if you drive hard. Heavy city traffic, hauling loads, lots of heels foot on the floor. All of that accelerates wear, and there's a bigger point here that you can't ignore. This technology was developed by brilliant engineers in controlled labs. The tests were done in ideal conditions, correct oil, correct intervals, correct temperatures, but America is not a lab. America is stop and go on I-95 in July. It's 105-degree asphalt in Phoenix. It's the corner shop that doesn't have the right scanner. It's the owner who figures the car can take anything you throw at it. When reality meets theory, the results don't always match what engineering promised. That's not trashing the technology. That's being honest about real-world use. Automakers are starting to notice, gradually, some manufacturers are revising or walking away from oil-bathed belts in new designs. Consumer pressure, piled up complaints, and some real reputation damage have started to tip the scales. So the big question we promised at the top is the oil-bathed timing belt evolution or a ripoff? The honest answer: it depends on who's driving it. For the automaker, it was a legitimate engineering choice aimed at reducing fuel consumption, noise, and production costs. For the well-informed driver who actually takes care of their car, it can work fine. For the driver who had no idea this technology was even in their vehicle, who the salesperson never told, who used whatever oil was on sale at Walmart because they figured it was all the same, and who found out there was a problem when the warning light lit up on the dash. Yeah, it was a really unpleasant surprise. And that's exactly the problem. The technology changed, the car changed, but the communication to the owner didn't keep up. You can't expect the owner to take care of something nobody ever explained to them. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people who own these vehicles. You know what's in your engine. You know what needs to be done. You know what to ask at the shop. Now, share this video with someone who drives one of the cars we mentioned. It could save them a seriously expensive headache. Drop a comment below. What car do you drive, and did you know it had an oil-bathed belt? I want to read every single one. If you've got value from this, hit like, subscribe if you haven't yet, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one, because we're going to keep pulling back the curtain on the stuff the industry doesn't put in the brochure. Technology moves fast, but the one writing the maintenance checks is always the same person, the owner. Take care of your ride.